Hi, guys. Brandon Cristal from Gorilla Sports. Obviously, there's a big stadium behind you, and we found out 60,000 tickets sold. How excited are you to play in front of such a large crowd? Because we know that the popularity of women's soccer has grown enormously, but you don't get this that often. So just to know the support that you're going to have and how big it'll be tomorrow.
I think the most I've ever had behind me as my own team is probably about 7,000 to 10,000. So that's a big jump. I'm very excited. I think having an entire city behind you is just going to propel us even further. And going off of a 3-game kind of close stint, it's going to help so much having that kind of energy of the fan base behind us.
Yeah, I think for me, as a hometown girl, it's incredible. I'm not surprised Denver shows up for their sports teams. It's just, I'm so grateful that the community is going to be out here supporting us. And Nick touched on this earlier in our team meeting, but I've been in a lot of places where we've had big crowds, but not for us as the home team. So to know that we're going to have 60,000 plus, hopefully all in green and white, cheering us on tomorrow, it just gives the team that extra lift, in times maybe where we're managing a lead or pushing to get back in the game, those kinds of things, the fans really end up being the next best thing than having another player on the field. So we're really excited and just really grateful that the community is showing up for us.
Colin Riley with Denver 7. I asked the ownership group this too, but from a player and coach perspective, we're used to seeing you guys lock in, focus on the job. What unique pressures do you have? First home game, biggest crowd we've seen so far. What unique pressures from players and coaches' perspectives do you have, and how do you lock in to make sure you perform?
I think from my experience and my point of view, I think the pressures are wanting to perform for our people and wanting to deliver a win, right? But I think when you take away the emotion and you strip it back, that is why we all had a huge sort of desire to be here. This is where you want to be. And I think as the coach, that is my role. My role is to communicate that to the team, that when you started playing when you were 5, 6, 7-year-old, it was with the dream of being able to play in front of 60,000 and do what you love best, which is play soccer. So you just have to just go play. You got to enjoy it. I say a lot to the team. I think in these big games, the art of it is to attack the opportunity and not fear the outcome. And for me, I've had the privilege of being able to be part of big games and games where the crowds are big. And I said to the team, but never ever have I done it where everybody in the stadium is behind us. I've done FA Cup finals where it's 50-50 split, and I did MLS Cup final in Portland where everybody was for the opposition. So it's going to be a really unique occasion, but you have to enjoy it and you have to make sure that you absorb it and go do your job, right? It's just to go play soccer, and whether you play in front of nobody or 60,000, it's the same game. It's just the way that you emotionally react to it. So just go play and don't fear.
Kyle Fredrickson with the Denver Gazette. Quick question for Nick. Now that you've got a few games under your belt here, how would you just describe the identity of this team, or at least your desired identity, and how gratifying was it to get that first victory?
Yeah, really pleasing to get the win, because I get the privilege of watching the hard work that the players put in and the commitment and the investment that these players have put in from day one. So maybe I'm biased, but we deserved a win. The players deserve 3 points because they've been incredible in how they have bonded together, how they have worked hard, how we have attacked all the preseason games. So 3 points was, I wanted it before this, but to do it on the road in Game 3 was excellent. I think we just got to keep playing and keep working. For me, it's like we're an attacking team. We've got to go and attack the opponents. You can see in the Gotham game and parts of the Orlando game that we want to create chances with the ball, but also we want to be a threat in our defensive phases. We want to be organised and aggressive, but, the sort of payback for being together and being aggressive is creating chances. And I think we're seeing that. We had a lot of the ball in the Gotham game, but both our goals came from the defensive phases of the game. So for us, it's about having a threat in every phase of the game.
Hi, Kaylee Wong here with Summit Up Podcast. I asked this question to the leadership group, but from a player and a coaching perspective, what do you guys hope that Spirit walks away saying about you tomorrow?
I I think that they just felt like they were under pressure for the whole game. We're the type of team, like Nick said, we want to put pressure on teams. We want to create goal-scoring opportunities, and we want to make sure that we are forcing teams to defend their box for 90-plus minutes. I think for me, it's that they walk away feeling like they really didn't get a foothold in the game. There's momentum shifts in games for sure. We can't expect to be in control for every minute of the game, but I thought what we did really well in the Gotham game was kind of weather those storms of their pressure, especially when they put some of the more veteran players on the field. And when you look at the type of team that Washington has with some of their player profiles, to be able to force them to defend is going to give us the best chance to come away successful. So yeah, I hope they walk out of here feeling like they didn't get much.
I think I know what they're going to walk out here saying, irrelevant of result. I know they're going to see and say that we are a serious contender in NWSL, not just as a football team, but as an organisation. 60,000 in a stadium, look at the branding in the stadium, the way that we carry ourselves, the professionalism, the commitment from front office and ownership, the commitment from our fans. I think everywhere we've been, people know that whatever the result and the style and the performance on the pitch, that we're doing things right. We're committed and in supporting our players, in delivering for our fans, and in enjoying the journey, right? And that's all we can do is just commit.
And also, there's it's obviously for the Broncos Stadium, so they have downstairs 5,280 feet, and altitude sickness is real. And I want them to be like, oh my goodness, it is hard to breathe, but we have that third lung. So I want to suffocate them as much as possible.
I'm Jasmine with CBS Colorado. My question for you all is just, what does it mean to be able to play at home in the city where you grew up? And I mean, what's your message to young girls in Denver who never even thought this could be possible?
Yeah, I was one of those young girls. I never thought that professional women's soccer would make its way here before the end of my career. So the gratitude that I have to the Cohens and the rest of the ownership group, Jordan Angeli and everyone that was a part of bringing the team here. I got really emotional before training just seeing the community talk about this team. I grew up going to Rapids games, watching men's players play in this city. So for not just young girls, but just young people in general, to come see us play in front of 60,000 people, hopefully either ignites that fire inside of them to become a soccer player, an athlete, whatever they want to do. But I really just hope that we inspire the community, because this community inspired me growing up, and I feel so grateful that I get to be out there tomorrow and pay back the community for all that they poured into me as a young person. And I said this earlier, Denver's such a sports town, so we take a lot of pride in being the first women's professional sports team here. And I'm just really excited to continue to give back to the community playing at home.
Question for Nick. We listened to Rob earlier speak about how this team came together essentially over the course of 15 months with a lot of people and a lot of hard work. What did you observe over the course of that process about this ownership group, and what gave you confidence to join this club under some unique circumstances with how quickly it sort of formed?
Yeah, I've been really, really lucky in my career. I was hired in 2006 as a 19-year-old at City Football Group and had 20 years, almost a Harvard education in soccer. I'm so lucky. And when I come out in 2025, it for me personally was a huge decision to go alone, to go it alone. Right? My whole education was with one organization, and what I was looking for was I want to be part of something special. You know, when Janine talks about Colorado, and you know, I spent 5 years in New York, and it was incredibly difficult to have a presence in New York in the sort of soccer culture. You know, when you ask in New York about the last championship, everybody used to say, "Oh, Giants 2011," and we won in 2021 in MLS, and Gotham won twice in 23 and 25. And I was looking, I want to be part and play my part in something special. And when I spoke to the ownership, and when I came to the U.S. Women's National Team game against Republic of Ireland, and you know straight away I'm a very feel guy, and you feel the commitment and the energy, and for me it was perfect. You know, I got hard work. You know, I want to work hard. We got to develop the team, but that process along the way was just meeting incredible people, from the front office to Kurt and David and Mike, and we just kept adding incredible people, right? So I feel incredibly privileged to be part of it. Hopefully I can play my part in the journey. But I just feel really lucky to be here, and tomorrow will be a great example of that. I think, well, then, it's first, right? The first goal, the first point, the first win, the first home opener. I can't wait till we go Centennial and do the first game there. And we are incredibly lucky. And I've said before, my experience of MLS is you go to some places, I won't name them, but you go to some places and you feel like you're playing against 14 players because of their crowd and their atmosphere. I wasn't that lucky in my role, but here, I definitely will be.
Aaron Anderson, Fox 31. This is for Janine and Kaleigh. You had a chance to get acclimated today here at Mile High, and I'm sure you probably looked around and saw these seats. There was an attempt to maybe simulate crowd noise. I'm sure Janine knows how loud this stadium can be. How big a home field advantage is that to play in front of a Summit-based fan with that kind of energy?
Yeah, I think what Nick said, it feels like 14 people on the field. That's what we're expecting with 60,000. There's also a different element in terms of because it's so loud, the way that you have to play is a little different. Communication might not be the easiest thing. And so everyone has to have their head on a swivel and make sure that they're, doing their job to the best of their abilities. But the crowd is just going to be so crucial for tomorrow to continue to push, especially with that long week.
Yeah, I think one of the things we've been talking about as a team is starting well. And when you get the crowd behind you early, that momentum is really important. And so I think when we have the opportunity to go forward, to create exciting moments in the attacking third, that's why you watch as a fan, to watch those opportunities. So to know that the noise is going to come then, I just want to really take advantage of that energy and those waves of momentum, because I've played in stadiums where the momentum's against you, and it's really difficult to come out of that. And it's going to be really hard for them to quiet 60,000 Denver Summit fans. So I think we'll have to play a little bit differently, make sure that we're communicating in ways that are useful for us. But I mean, thinking about it now is just so exciting.
Yeah, do you have goosebumps thinking about what it's going to be like to run on this field?
I forgot how big this stadium is. It's like, so we walked in here earlier and I was like, whoa. So, I mean, even like the screen is just, everything's big. So to know that it's going to be close to full in here tomorrow is pretty unbelievable. And I know that feeling when we walk out of the tunnel is something that we're all going to remember forever. And I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, I think it's still kind of surreal. The goosebumps haven't hit, but when we walk out tomorrow, it's going to be just loud. You're going to be able to feel it through your body. So I'm expecting goosebumps, and I'm expecting a lot of excitement.
Jeff Kassouf, ESPN. Kaleigh, Janine, wondering, you've both seen different situations in this league at different teams. I'm wondering, sort of two-parter of tomorrow being the scale of event that it should be. If you thought a day like this, and they've kind of, it's been a new record each year as far as attendance, that these types of days would come at this scale one day, years ago, if you thought that, and just at a wider level, how has this club felt different to you from maybe other clubs, or what are they doing differently, from the start here?
I'll echo what Nick said. I just wanted to be a part of something special, and it was really important for me to be here from the beginning. It was clear, even before I had any conversation with anyone at the summit, that these owners know what they're doing. And they're willing to give us everything we need to be successful, which in my career I've never experienced. And that just makes you feel so valued as a player in the locker room, and I know every single one of our teammates feel that as well. So to know that we can go to them and say, hey, this is what we need, and it's all ears, and it's let's find a solution, that's a really, really unique thing, especially in women's sports. I'm not sure that I ever could have imagined 60,000 in the Broncos Stadium, especially growing up here. But it's so nice to say that it isn't surprising at this point in women's soccer and across the league for sure. I went away to England for a few years, and the crowds there are so-and-so. You get to play in Wembley in front of thousands of people. But when I came back, just the surge of excitement for the NWSL had seemed like it kind of changed overnight. And got to credit a lot of that to the U.S. Women's National Team and their success over the last decade. But it's so exciting to be a part of, and I imagine that hopefully this record will continue to be broken.
Mauricio Jaramillo, Telemundo, Colorado. The ownership group said Denver exceed the expectations. So what do you have to say about the fan support here? Because it's not just for the game, for any single event the team had.
I think the fan support, my experience of being here now since June, the fan support has been incredible. The energy and the enthusiasm. I was at an event last night, and it was the atmosphere and the energy there was brilliant. So we thank them for that. It gave us real energy in pre-season to work hard, to work towards trying to put points on the board. working towards this game, and we're going to give everything we got. We're going to put everything in it, and all we want is to just be behind us. And I said before to the team, not only do we want to play a style of football that can drive the energy of the fans and that we can connect, but for us, is 60,000. There's an opportunity for us tomorrow. There's 60,000 here, and we want to bring them back again. And we want this to be not just a one-off in the sense of when we play at Centennial, pack it out, get the energy. So, we're going to try and do our part, and we want them behind us.
Yeah, I walked in one of the Western parades before preseason even started, and the fact that so many people in this city already knew who Denver Summit was before we'd even stepped foot on the pitch is just absolutely amazing. I've been in previous clubs where I would wear my team's shirt and no one knew what we were or who we were. So I can't even walk around this town or this city without, if I'm wearing a Summit shirt, I'm going to have multiple people come up and be like, oh my gosh, are you on the team? And they're so excited. So it's just amazing that we've gotten so much outreach so quickly, and you can definitely tell with 60,000 tickets sold.
Matthew Rick with Summon Up. We asked Rob and Jem the same question, but match day -1 of ostensibly the biggest match you'll face until the championship. What are you going to think when you lay your head down on your pillow tonight?
I've said, I've been in this situation before, and I don't mean this. I mean, I've been in games where, I've overthought it, and when the game comes, you just see nothing. So I will just try and I have a little routine, and I'll go through that routine, and it's good food, sleep, and be ready for the game. But it's another game. Of course, is unique, but it's another. The problems we're going to face within the game are going to be very similar to Gotham and Orlando. It's just going to feel very different. So when you put your feet on the floor and you think logically, the one thing we have to do is really enjoy it and absorb it, because this is going to be an amazing experience.
Yeah, you want to go?
I think for me, I just want all of our players to know that they just need to be themselves. No one needs to do anything extra special. Obviously, there's moments of brilliance that come, but those come from players just being themselves. And there's a reason why this ownership group, why the coaching staff put this team together, and it's because they believe that we can be successful. So sharing that message with our teammates, remembering that for myself, it's a fine balance between enjoying the occasion and just playing the game, not playing the occasion, just playing the game. So, I think for me that will be my message to myself, and the two of us will try our best to get that message to the team.
Yeah, and just managing the emotions personally and for the group is really important. Obviously, you talked about, when we lay our head on our pillows tonight, so it's going to be, can we separate the emotion as much as possible? Because if you sit there and think about it, there's going to be so much excitement. So we're going to hopefully save it for tomorrow and get a good night's sleep.
Kaleigh Long with Summit Up podcast as well. This question is for you girls. Women.
Girl too.
I grew up playing soccer, and I remember that feeling of having such a unified team in the locker room. Can you share with us maybe some things that you guys have done that's either, a team outing, a fun bonding experience, or what that's looked like to build that camaraderie within the locker room?
This team really likes to eat ice cream. So we got a lot of ice cream in preseason. Don't know if you knew that. We have a really special group. I just said it. It was intentional that this group was put together, and it's been really easy to build a culture and an environment where everyone feels that they can be themselves. We have some characters in this team, and it's really telling when people feel like they can be themselves in an environment, not just off the pitch, but also on the pitch, and just encouraging those personalities to come out. So, I don't think that we all love being in each other's presence, and I think that that's really special. And I know both of us have been in environments where that isn't the case. So to find that and to find it in an expansion team is even more special.
Yeah, and both of us are 31 years old, and I was actually thinking about this yesterday, where I've never actually had to make my own friends because I've been on a soccer team, and my friends have been made for me, basically. And I was thinking about this group in particular and how amazing it is that we've come together so quickly and how we've bonded so fast. And, we always want to be together. We've played games on the road trips. We just want to do everything together. And when you have a group of 30 plus women, that's not always easy. And there's a lot of emotions, but so far everything's been really, really solid with this group, and it's only going to get better.
Thank you.
Thank you.